And Give, and this is Maya Marie. In today's video, I am super excited to share with you guys one of my new tarot decks. And I haven't been excited about a deck like this for a while. Without further ado, I will be sharing with you my impressions on the Hoodoo Tarot. Now, the Hoodoo Tarot is by Tayannah Lee McQuiller, and the artwork is done by Caitlin V. Foisey. So I wanted to get that out the way, give props to the creators, and I am so blessed that they created this deck. Now this deck, I first saw this review on Oya's Girl channel, which she did an amazing review. Like, she is like the queen bee for sure. So I had it on my list, and this month is my month's birthday, so I usually just get myself things that I've been wanting and haven't gotten around to getting them. And as far as decks goes, I've been trying to live a more minimalist life. So I just don't want to collect decks just for the sake of collecting them and then they sit in the drawer and I never use them. I want to get the ones that truly resonate with me, that I love. Of course, you may think you like a deck, you may get it and not connect with it, but I just want to be a little more aware. I don't want to collect and just have more things around the house than I need. So, without further ado, this has been on my radar for a while, and as a friend of mine says, I hemmed and hawed, and should I get it, should I not, watching a few other reviews, and it was on my wish list on Amazon. And then it was not available on Amazon. I think it was on there for like $32. And a few people were reselling it because it was out of stock for like $50, 40 something, $50. And I was like, wow, this is gonna be one of those things. So thank goodness I purchased it from Barnes and Nobles. If you guys have a Barnes and Nobles, they are still available on there. Now, this deck is just amazing. This is the box that it came in, and it came in a two-part deck. I don't have that with me right now where the deck was in. Which boxes is a nice, thick, sturdy box. The boxes don't make or break it for me because I don't store my tarot cards in their boxes. It just seems a little cold to me. I like to give them a bag to live in. So the box, but this is the box, very sturdy. Oh my goodness, I took the cards out. This is the back. Looks like the United States with a skeleton key in there. The front of the cards, they remind me, this is the Nine of Knives. They remind me of like a collage, and they have a vintage feel to them. But there's definitely a mood and an energy that I feel, and I feel connected to. So I know I will use these so much. I've been pulling them. I have them for like 2 days now. I have pulled like 2 or 3 times. So the authentic history of voodoo, I just really am into the culture, into the ancestry behind the subject. I've studied hoodoo, on and off for a couple years now, and I'm feeling more compelled and more drawn to it to learn more about it, to go even deeper than I've already gone. So one thing I like about this deck is from people during the colonial times. It just reminds me of ancestors, people that were given the short end of the stick, given lemons, and they made lemonades. And that's a testament to the strength. And that makes me proud. Some people are ashamed that maybe their ancestors were enslaved. I don't say slaves, but I like that they weren't slaves, they were enslaved. But the heart and the tenacity and the love that they gave despite what they went through is just an amazing testament on what a group of wonderful human beings they are, and they should not be forgotten. And that's one thing that drew me to this deck, because there are a lot of people in history that I had no idea who they were. And then now, as I'm going to be studying this deck, I will get to know those people that were lost in history somewhere. Like Gullah Jacks, for instance, is one of them. And the Buzzard, Dr. Buzzard, is another one. So there's a lot of history that I need to reconnect, and those stories need to be told so that they aren't lost in history. And to me, that's so important to me, is to not let history be lost, but have a voice to tell the history from the voices of our ancestors, for the voices of people that knew truth, so that it won't be watered down and forgotten about, because your power will also be forgotten about. So that's part of my mission, and that's one thing I am so grateful that I believe that this deck will do for me, give me a learning history to go and learn about different things. Now, they have in this book a few spreads that I think I'll be using. For instance, here is the Ancestor Spread. Now, I have been working with my ancestors for quite some times now. I did a couple of videos back on ancestral veneration. So if you're interested, go check that out. But, and I had a dream the other night, and again, a whisper in my mind, a whisper spirit just kept whispering to me, Egun, 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 which means in Yoruba, ancestors. So I felt so like connected that my ancestors are giving me so many signs that they hear me and I hear them. And I feel like I am obligated to hear their voices to help myself in this world as well as others. So I cannot wait to do this ancestral spread in this book. Now, these cards, they remind me of a connection with your ancestors. Now, they give me a deep kind of Southern vibe, which is where Hoodoo originated in, the Southern states. I was born in Birmingham, Alabama, and I moved to the West Coast at a very young age. But my father and his family lived in Birmingham. They still live there now. My mother and her side moved out to the Western world, Southern California to be exact. And so I've had a experience in both worlds. But somehow I've always connected to that Southern heart. I've done a few school years there. I'll go back in the summer. I tried to move there in my early 20s. So I really respect the Southern culture. That's where I learned the gratitude for family. I learned how to have faith. My grandmother was a Baptist Christian, and I would just see her have her faith in her religion. And I saw a sense of community that I don't think I would have gotten from California. So that's another reason why I really connect with these cards. It just looks like they're Southern folk that you can see anywhere, just those times. I just love it. Look at this, the Ten of Baskets. So it gives me a sense of family, a community, a sense of past divinations, things that we need not forget. So with that being said, in the cards, they have the sticks, baskets, knives, and coins. And these are the different sectors within the deck. Now, this is one thing I love about the deck as well. Like the major arcana are called the elders. And the community is the minor arcana. And the family is the court cards. Now, again, going back to that Southern traditional life that I loved and I admired, that I was a part of, this is exactly what that life reminded me of. You have the elders. I was taught as a child, you respect your elders. Your elders were everything either they were right or wrong, you still respected them. You didn't curse in front of your elders. They were just held at the highest regard. And I have friends, a friend of mine that's a crossing guard, and she's just, gets so disgusted how, she'll walk the kids across the street and they're cursing and call each other B's and the N-word. And she's just appalled that these children would even talk that way in front of her. Now, as kids, even if we talk that way in front of talk the way in front of amongst ourselves, we still respected the elders, and we would not say a curse word in front of them, and we would not show any type of derogatory words or actions out of respect for our elders. So that's one thing that I'm happy that I connected with this book also. It seemed like it's been a lost code of ethics that's gone to the side somewhere. And going back to the court cards, which is family, I feel a lot of the family values have gone away. It's more me, myself, and I mentality in a lot of parts of the United States. And that core family appreciation and love that I was taught and felt in the South, that I don't necessarily feel here where I'm at now on the West Coast. So I thought that was very poignant, and it connected me to that space and time where there was a true love and a true sense of community. Now the minor arcana, it's called the community. Now that's another thing that I feel that's kind of gone to the wayside, a sense of community. When people stuck together, they helped each other. I remember, everyone made a Sunday dinner. My grandmother made enough. Whoever came over after church was able to eat. My other family members, if they cooked, you can go to their house and they will offer you the first thing when you came in, would you like something to eat or would you like something to drink? And these are people that didn't have a lot monetarily. They were rich in their soul and their love, but monetarily they didn't have a lot to offer, but they still would offer you something to eat and drink. If there was a family member who would needed something, may have been down and out, they helped each other. My uncle that had this beautiful garden used to bring my grandmother crops that he yielded from his garden. So it was a sense of community that I am so happy I had a chance to feel. So I hope that we come again on this plane in the United States, that we can feel that way as a collective again. I think that makes the world a much better place, and it changes systems and it changes paradigms. So those are other reasons why I'm so connected to this deck. And it has a Big Ma in there. I just spoke about my grandmother and what she taught me about her faith and her love. And so I'm so happy to have that in there. I pulled the Strength card last night, which I think is so beautiful. Just shows the strength, inner, outer, the ability to move forward. So I look forward to working with these cards. And let me see, looking at my notes really quick, making sure I didn't forget anything. So if you guys are interested, go pick up the Hoodoo Tarot. I am looking forward to seeing what it has to teach me in it, and I'm so excited to use it. The artwork is amazing. Now, another thing that I loved about this deck is for the major arcana, it gives you a Bible passage, and it also gives you a plant. Now in Hoodoo, herbs and roots conjure, it's the basics for studying Hoodoo. And the Bible scriptures, I love that because the more that my consciousness expands, I realize how different ways the Bible passages can be interpreted. So it's so cool to see different passages incorporated or in regard to the meanings, a different, maybe divination meaning that the masses may have indoctrinated people into believing. So that brings me back to that other foundation of mine, you know? And the plants are really nice too. There's some here that I have not heard of or have not worked with. So that'll give me an opportunity to try new herbs and do research on the herbs. That's one thing that I thought was genius about this. I don't have another deck, nor do I know of another deck that incorporates that in there. And then, so for the minor arcana, they also have a plant that coincides with the card as well. So that was a plus. I'm looking forward to learning. I know this will be a deck that I will delve into and use it and just grow and learn from it as time go on. Here's another book if you guys are interested in other books on hoodoo. Now this Mojo Working book, and it is by Katrina Hazard Donald. And this is a literary book. It is a scholarly read, and I feel as if the research is done perfectly. It seems authentic. It feels authentic to me in my intuition. And it's a harder read, so if you want a book like most of the books have hoodoo and what kind of spell to have, no, she goes deep into the history and science behind it, the culture, the demographic. And like I said, it's a scholarly read, so if you want some real information from some real scholar research from, I believe Katrina is a professor, then I definitely recommend this book. Jambalaya, I don't have the book with me, but I did a review on that some months back. So if you want to go and check that one out, that one's on my top of my list as well. I purchased this one, Hoodoo Herb and Magic, but by Catherine Yernwood. But I know it didn't seem too authentic to me. Some books that I read, you can tell it's just someone who's really not connected to the information. For me anyway, it doesn't come off as feeling authentic. It feels like it's just something they've curated to make money off of. And there's a lot of that going on. So I want to research hoodoo more so I will know the truth of what the culture was and is, and how I can honor that truth. And it's not just watered down. People are not just taking it, putting their own twist to it, which I guess as anything grows, people have the right to do that. But make sure that the people who have created it, the intent of the use, does not get watered down and washed away and never get credit for the strength and the talent and the culture that they bought and will still bring to our country. So with that being said, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you do, like the video and subscribe, help my channel grow. And go pick up yourself the Hoodoo Tarot. Now this is going down as a classic. So until we meet again, peace.